How far can you go for your loved ones? If I say you have to find your way through the ongoing war to save your loved one, would you do it? Hello and welcome back to Every Recap Ever. Today we are seeing a 2012 movie called August 8th. Like always, subscribe to our channel for more recaps, and let's go. Tayoma is a very active kid who loves everything about robots. His favorite show is Cosmo Boy and often goes to watch the play near his house. He is so obsessed with robots that he starts imagining himself as a Cosmo Boy, living out adventures in his mind. After the show, his mom, Xenia, picks him up. He's a little disappointed that his mother didn't even see the video of the play he sent her. However, she tells him that she was just a little busy with some other things. Apparently, Xenia is a single mom and currently seeing someone. Tayoma's imagination again starts going wild, and he starts imagining cars as a robot. However, his mother makes him back to reality, gently snapping him out of his daydream. Later, Xenia's boyfriend, Igor, comes over for dinner. He's a businessman and tries to make a good impression on her family. While having the conversation, he accidentally breaks Tayoma's robot. The boy doesn't like it and starts imagining things again. While imagining things, he spills some drink on Igor's shirt. Xenia gets a call from her ex-husband, Zor, and he asks her to send Tayoma to his house for some days. Zor is a military officer who lives near the border. Xenia is not too happy about the idea, but thinking it might give her more time to spend with Igor, she agrees to send him. She takes Tayoma to the airport, where she meets Ilya. He's Zor's friend, and he is there to pick up Tayoma. Though she still feels uneasy about all this situation, she puts on a smiling face and says goodbye. Ilya gives her his number in case of any emergencies. She quickly heads to Igor's office and asks him to go somewhere for a vacation. After making plans, she comes home and starts packing her things. Her mother returns home and wonders where Tayoma is. She tells her that she has sent him to stay with Zor for some days. Her mother gets worried and asks her to bring Tayoma back. She just heard on the news that war might break out any second. This shocks Xenia, and she immediately calls Zor. Apparently, Zor is having a small party at his house with Tayoma. He asks her to not get worried, as this is just a rumor. Xenia doesn't listen and gets fixated on the same thing. Things escalate, and Zor hangs up the call in anger. He even turns off Tayoma's phone so that she won't call him. He just wants to spend some time with his kid. Xenia tries to convince her mother that everything is fine at the borders, but she doesn't listen and books the flight tickets. Later, Xenia goes to Igor's office and asks him to come with her to the borders. According to her, they can spend vacation over there after picking up Tayoma. However, he doesn't care about her son. He has heard the news about war breaking out and asks her to just let go of her son. This pisses her off. She insults him in front of everyone and leaves. She then asks her mom for the flight details and gets on the plane. As she reaches the airport near the border, she hears the news that every bus heading towards the border town has been canceled. She doesn't know what to do, but suddenly she overhears some whispers from a group of people. It turns out a bus driver is ready to make the trip for double the fare. Xenia takes this chance and gets on the bus. A few miles in, and the bus's engine suddenly stops working. The driver then asks help from a passing military van, and they start towing the bus. Everything seems fine at first. The next second, the enemy missile strikes the van in front of them. The shock waves also impact the bus, and it almost falls down the cliff. On the other side, Zor gets called to the military base for urgent business. At night, a military rescue team reaches the crash site. Most of the passengers who were sitting at the front side of the bus ended up dead. Fortunately, Xenia was sitting at the back, so she made it alive with some minor injuries. Leka, who's the squad leader, asks the survivors to go to the emergency shelters. However, Xenia is fixated on going to the city. Even though it might be dangerous, Leka agrees to take her to the nearby city. After reaching the city, she starts wondering how to get to Zor's house. Suddenly, she sees some missiles flying over. Next second, the city is under attack. She gets panicked and hides in the nearby building with a military officer. However, another blast breaks the structure and part of the building falls around them. Meanwhile, Zor gets to the military base and learns about the war starting. He gets worried about his son and family, as his house is just beside the border. He quickly hops into the military car to rush towards his home. On the other side, the military officer saves Xenia. They find a van nearby and try to run away. They see some civilians asking for help and save them. Xenia gets a call from Zor, and he gets shocked hearing that she is in the city. He asks her to get to the emergency shelter while he goes and retrieves Tyoma. Zor quickly reaches home, which is fortunately not attacked yet. Xenia reaches the shelters and takes a sigh of relief knowing that Zor and Tyoma will be there soon. On the other side, Zor quickly gets into his car with his family and Tyoma. He sees an enemy tank approaching. He quickly tells Tyoma to run inside and hide. Zor gets outside and tries to surrender by doing peace signs. In Tyoma's mind, the tanks transform into a giant robot. The next second, the robot fires, hitting Zor and the car. Xenia, who's at the shelter, starts worrying about Tyoma and calls on Zor's phone. Tyoma picks up and starts mumbling about the robot attacking Dad and destroying everything. Xenia quickly realizes the situation and asks Tyoma to hide in the house while she gets there. She now needs to find a way to get back to the house. She remembers Ilya giving her his phone number at the airport. She calls him and asks for his help. Ilya tells her to get to the nearby river within 1 hour. Also, he asks her to get a reporter ID to avoid suspicion. Xenia quickly steals an ID from the news van parked in the shelter and reaches the location. They initially suspect her, but Ilya backs her up and they start heading back to the city. Xenia sends a video message to Tyoma and asks him to hang in there for some time. After covering some distance, they suddenly get ambushed by the enemy soldiers. The chaos quickly spreads and almost everyone ends up dying. Xenia, who is determined to save her boy, runs through the chaos and suddenly falls unconscious. She wakes up a few hours later in some underground house shelter. She sees many people are hiding in the bunker. Xenia gets a video message from Tyoma and he asks her to please hurry. She says thanks to the people who saved her and starts running to the direction of the town. Leka sees Xenia running like a headless chicken. She could get shot anytime by snipers. The enemy soldiers see her and start shooting. However, Leka saves her and takes her to their hideout. Xenia explains to him about her situation and asks for his help again. Even though it might endanger everyone, he just can't say no to a mother. Apparently, the enemy soldiers are trying to unalive all the civilians from the city to take over. Zor's house is exactly 3 miles away from the city, and it has been completely taken over by the enemy forces. Despite these odds, Xenia is ready to take this risk. Leka's team is tasked with saving the civilians from the city, so the most he can do is take her to the city. After agreeing to his terms, Xenia gets in their car and starts heading towards the city. Through the chaos and so much shooting, they manage to infiltrate the city. They find a safe spot in the city and start taking out the enemy soldiers. Leka quickly finds survivors and realizes there are too many people. They quickly take out remaining enemy soldiers so that they can rescue the people. He asks Xenia to run through the backside of the city. There is apparently an old bridge which nobody uses. If she crosses the bridge, she can get to Zor's house undetected. On the other side, the president of the country gives his order for the full-scale counterattack to take out the enemy. He can't just stay silent now. Coming back to Xenia, she runs through the forest and even crosses the bridge. However, she sees some enemy soldiers' car in her path. They seem distracted, so she takes this chance and manages to reach Zor's house. She sees Tyoma unconscious and starts finding a way to leave the place. She remembers the enemy car which she saw previously. Xenia then tricks the soldiers and steals their car. She quickly comes home and gets Tyoma. Even though the road is going to be dangerous, she starts speeding through. She ends up in a dire situation where her road gets blocked by enemy cars. She doesn't give up and takes a detour through the wilderness. Even though it's a tank in front of her, nothing can stop her. Help finally arrives from the sky. Nation's fighter jets start taking out enemy vehicles one by one. Tyoma, who's still in his hallucinations, sees the jets taking out the robots. Xenia somehow escapes the chaos, but one of the enemy soldiers ambushes her. He is ready to shoot her, but she pleads for her son's life. The soldier trembles. Something in her voice stops him. He lowers his weapon and decides to help her. He drops her to her country's border and immediately heads back. The next moment, more backup arrives and starts taking out the enemy. In all that chaos, Xenia finally manages to take her son to safety. The war comes to an end as the enemy soldiers get defeated. A few days later, after getting some rest and medical help, Tyoma and Xenia get ready to leave the borders. Leka, who was worried about Xenia all this time, finally sees her. She is happy to see him and says thanks for all the help. For a second, something special passes between them, a spark. He's happy to see her reunite with her son and bids them farewell. A few months goes by and Sinia's phone starts ringing. A message pops up in the voicemail. "Hey, it's me, Lekha.